Dear Fiona, dear Mr. Kouwenberg, distinguished guests and participants of the Mentoring Europe Summit, let me thank you for the invitation. A European Parliament plenary session holds me back in Brussels, but it is an honor and a great pleasure to be with you this morning. It is the European Year of Youth, and we have to do our best to make this year one of all our youth. Their education and their future should be our main priority. So let's be ambitious for them in Europe, and allow me to say that this mentoring, with mentoring, we are spot on. First, I would like to congratulate Mentoring Europe and their members for their engagement for youth, commitment to evidence-based mentoring, and for bringing us all today at the European table to discuss this wonderful practice of intergenerational solidarity. With my intervention, I will tell you the story about why I am, as a member of the European Parliament, that much attached to mentoring. First, because mentoring is for me one of the most valuable practices to tackle the most prominent political problem of our difficult time, the reduction of social inequalities. One of the main reasons for my political engagement. In France, we have a sociologist named Jérôme Fourquet, who talks about the archipelization of the French society. And I think that the danger of archipelization of the breakup of society linked to the existing social inequalities is an absolute problem that needs to be at the highest level of our political agenda. Among these social inequalities are, of course, educational inequalities, and the practice of mentoring allows for great progress and efficiency in this field. Often when you develop educational policy, even when it's very ambitious, its main challenge is to ensure that it touches those that are most in need. And mentoring gives an answer to this challenge to leave no one behind and to touch the most vulnerable, or sometimes to embark those that are the farthest from empowerment. It allows working on yourself, then that one can prepare to be capable of seizing the measures, plans, or programs available for him or her. The second aspect that makes me value mentoring that much is that often with reforms of educational systems and policy change, it takes years to obtain significant results. We, of course, need long-term courage, as it is one of the only way we can achieve in-depth and structural change. Mentoring, however, is such a practice that has direct impact with lasting effects. You can provoke that it clicks for young or older people in a relatively short period of time, which is rare in the field of education and social integration. Thirdly, mentoring has many applications in educational institutions, companies in specific sectors, or as a support during European mobility, such as proven with the recently announced ALMA program for NEET, a young person not engaged in education, employment, or training. And mentoring seems to be good for everyone, both for the mentee, who will take advantage of this support to find his own way and broaden his horizon, as for the mentor, who, by helping others, by engaging in this support, by giving his time, will develop psychosocial competences or soft skills that are very valuable in the world of today, more particularly in terms of employability. I would say, more fundamentally, practices such as mentoring are the ferments of a united and civic-minded society, one we are calling for. We are planting for a world that is better because it is fairer. So where do we stand today? I would first like to say and recall that, yes, mentoring is a European issue. Why? Quite simply because it is at the heart of what we call the European pillar of social rights. On a European scale, we are thus under the obligation to favor and promote everything that can allow the reduction of inequalities of unemployment, and in particular, the fight against youth unemployment. Dear all, we are with mentoring in a most European subject. Then I would like to come back to the progress that we have been able to make in the European Parliament. I was a rapporteur or co-author for my political group, Renew Europe, for what is called the European Education Area, which is a great innovation, since it is the first time that the European Union has given itself the means to have a common approach in terms of education and training. And it is an area of common investment to foster a greater and better flow of learners, teachers, and knowledge, a sense of European belonging, while allowing member states to share good practices, encourage common research standards, objectives, and recognition, and in fact to bridge existing challenges together. One of the key features is also to establish 25 Erasmus Plus teachers academies, which are European partnerships of teacher education and training providers that exchange best pedagogical practices on certain topics. I would encourage this morning mentoring to have its place in such an academy and improving teachers' practices in Europe. The next occasion to work on it is the beginning of next September. Members of the European Parliament adopted their report on the education area on the 11th of November 2021. It includes, on my initiative, a paragraph that, on one hand, refers to mentoring as an extremely important and virtuous practice, and on the other hand, calls for mentors or people who are engaged in a commitment of solidarity, such as mentoring, to be recognized in a common European framework of psychosocial competences acquired during such a commitment or a period of mobility. This leads me to say that I truly believe in the very recent proposal of the European Commission for European micro-credential. They have a huge potential for bridging formal and informal education, for the recognition of psychosocial skills, and thereby mentoring. There is a third point that I would like to highlight. In the latest Parliament report on the implementation of citizenship education, which we also adopted very recently and massively, I included and convinced my colleagues to refer to mentoring as a practice to be developed. Why? Well, when you want to transmit a civic spirit to young people, there is, of course, formal and theoretical civic education, which we must strengthen because there are still too many pedagogical disparities among European countries. We, however, think that it is also an absolute necessity to invest in informal and practical civic education, to encourage young people to get involved, to give some of their time to activities and experiences of solidarity. And mentoring is, in fact, part of our practical citizenship education, one best practice that should be promoted in the private sector as much as in academic and professional pathways. So to continue, we are definitely advancing the visibility and recognition of mentoring, particularly at European level. Nevertheless, the ambition must go further. What I want is the European framework for psychosocial competences, the foundation of a social Europe. What we should strive for is to eventually obtain, in the longer run, a resolution from the Council of the European Union, that is to say, from the European body which brings together governments, to call for common European policy in the form of recommendations promoting mentoring. If we succeed, it should give more recognition and visibility to mentoring across member states in public and private spheres, allow the establishment of national legislative frameworks and the exchange of best practices at European level. And European recommendation could also encourage member states to seize the available structural funds such as ESF Plus and the EDRF to finance mentoring activities and associations that are committed to the practice. In this spirit, I wish to give you an example of public policy. France has launched an extremely ambitious mentoring plan in March 2021, launched by the President Emmanuel Macron himself. It has the ambition to finance 100,000 mentoring type assistance and 200,000 in 2022. And the originality of this public policy is that it has been co-constructed by the government and a collective of associations and citizens involved in mentoring. It actually lays the ground for the practice to flourish in France and beyond. This leads me to conclude that we increasingly need to inspire and help each other at European level in the field of mentoring and education at large. I sincerely hope that soon a common European framework on psychosocial competence will see the day to recognize the skills of the mentor, of the citizen we agrees to give his time for a commitment in solidarity. Well, we could even think about a European mentoring label, which would recognize all companies and institutions that engage in mentoring. This could have a tremendous ripple effect across Europe. Additional solutions and innovation can and must be found also at the concluding ceremony of the Conference of the Future of Europe last means of May on Europe Day. The citizens have made their request clear for us to double our efforts in the field of education and training. It is our responsibility to make Europe a social and educational power. This is why I value mentoring and wholeheartedly welcome that we are all together today. I hope to see you for a future event in Brussels very soon, and I wish you a great and inspiring summit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ilana. We are convinced as well that mentoring is a European matter and that it has to be developed. Under the good conditions, mentoring can help address many topics that are in the European agenda. And this event is an example. This event is an accredited event of Year of the Youth. So we are very happy to be already part of this advocacy process. Can you stay for some questions, Ilana?
Yes, I can.
Yes, super. So we will pass the mic. Yep. That's why I'm speaking here. And please, if you have some questions for Ilana, please do.
Any questions from the audience? Question over there. Can I give you the mic? It's on.
Hello, thank you very much, Ilana, for your dialogue. It was very, very interesting. My name is Laura. I'm here from IE Business School in Spain, and I just have a question about. So you mentioned the 100,000 initiatives that are being supported by France in the area of mentorship. What are the kind of characteristics or criteria that you're looking for in those initiatives?
I'm not sure I heard correctly the question, Fiona. So if you could summarize the question.
Yes. What are the characteristics you are looking for or thinking, right, for the mentoring?
Yeah, just I have I don't know if I took it down correctly, maybe not, but it was 100,000 initiatives that are being promoted or supported by France in the area of mentorship.
Oh, yeah. So you're speaking about the initiative launched by President Macron in France, and you're asking what are the
what are you looking for in those initiatives? Are they smaller grassroots?
Okay. So what kind of initiatives are being developed in France with the initiative you talk about?
Okay. Thank you for this question. No, I was, it took place on March 2021. So we were, in the context of the pandemic. So this is something that, few people are aware of. And the idea, the idea is really, first of all, to have a very serious budget, a 40 million budget for mentoring, per year. And the objective is to have a minimum of 100,000 mentoree for 2021. So this is already done, and to have two 100,000 mentoree for the year 2022. And so it's a very, very interesting initiative because you have a collective, as I said, of associations. Each one is, Fiona knows about it, it's a collective mentorat. So this is also, I said that it's a very original initiative because it's a way of co-writing the public policy. And I think it's very, very important. I want to insist on that. But maybe I can say that also an event because you have a collective of associations. And as you know, it's not always easy to have, associations working together so harmoniously. So I want to congratulate the collective mentorat because it's a fantastic, and Christophe Paris, that is the president of this collective, and I think that the fact that you have association, each one is really specialized in one field, for instance, rural or non-urban areas, one in, more for orientation, professional orientation, the other more to help, preventing the failure in school. So you have really, each association has a field, and the idea is to have this budget and to help in every area of the country this kind of association develops. So, and to be in a way labelized to be sure that it is a serious mentoring practice. So this is what I can say in a few words. But I think that this, I dream about maybe a great ambition. As you know, our president has been re-elected. He's very, very sensitive and a believer in mentoring. So let's hope that we will go even further with the new team.
Yes, and we have people from Collectif Mentorat here, so you can reach out if you have more questions. We have also organizations that are part of Collectif Mentorat, so if you're curious, please reach out to them. Do we have more questions?
And I want to add something, Fiona.
Yes, sure.
Fiona, I want to add, if I can, that I am also the president of a citizens association, Je m'engage pour l'école, and we are present in almost all the French departments. And we have also, I wanted you to know and to share with you that we have this ambition also to help, the collective, the collective mentorat to develop in every single town of France this idea of mentoring. And this is very important to develop links also with the teachers. That's something that we are going to work on because mentoring has to be known. And as soon as it is known and experienced, most of the time you are convinced. But what we have, the challenge that we have to tackle together is really to have, more and more partners and very local partners. So this is a work in progress, and each of you that wants to help is welcome. But I think it's important to inspire each other, and I think that this French plan is very inspiring for other European countries.
Exactly, and it's a very good example, a good practice, I would say, that of the holistic approach of mentoring. How can we all be part? How can we get in contact with the local schools, the corporations, the private companies, foundations, and families, and how can we build this ecosystem of strong, inclusive communities? For sure. Yeah. Thank you, Ilana.
Any more questions from the audience? Yeah. Can I get there? Can you pause the mic? So,
I will repeat the question for you if you don't hear it.
Hello, Ilana. Thank you very much for your inspiring story. And I'm Peter van Deursen from the Netherlands, from the Erasmus Plus program. Would you agree that you mentioned mentoring as an instrument for youth, that it is also a real instrument for, vulnerable adult groups? And do you have maybe also examples in what you are doing from that kind of initiatives?
Did you hear this?
Yes. Can you?
Yes.
Je suis preneuse d'une.
Oui. You talk about mentoring being an instrument for youth. Do you have any examples or on adult groups?
Yes, I think it is very important, to focus on youth because, of course, it's a priority for us. But I think that, of course, we are in a world where we have the long life learning is an absolute priority. We know that in Europe, we are a bit, ahead, behind. We have to develop that, and we are aware of that. And just before talking to you, I was in the Parliament welcoming the introduction of what we call microcreditation, microcredits. It's little diplomas, and also what we have developed in France. Sorry to speak about France as an inspiring model, but this morning this is the case. It's not always the case, but also the personal camps for training, and this is something that on your phone you can have decide what you want to be trained, in what field you want to be trained, and this is a revolution, and it has to be very accessible and very. So these personal learning accounts are really a revolution, and we are going to develop them at the European level. So this kind of thing. I would say to answer your question, I think that mentoring has to be developed for everyone. And we know that reskilling is absolutely necessary. We know that all the transition, even the best of them, like, of course, the ecological, transition and the digital transition are, of course, welcome. But we know that some people need to be trained, and they can be adults. And in this case, of course, what we say about young mentorees is absolutely true for less young mentorees. This is I would say that, as I said before, the difficulty is always to touch the one who really need, this, what we are creating for them. And if we want to be sure it's to have the most vulnerable people to grasp, for their benefit, what we are creating for them, mentoring is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's a for me, it's for two reasons. First of all, to enable everyone to benefit from what exists, and second, it's a société de l'engagement. It's a kind of ethics also that we can develop through that, because it's important, as I said, for the mentoree, but also for the one who is accompanying the other. And if, everyone, my dream that I share with you this morning is that everyone that is successful in the field should ask himself, okay, I found my way, how can I help others to find theirs? And if it's become a kind of reflex, a collective evidence to help the others, you see that, of course, others will be touched as well, and not only, and they should be touched. Because for me, it's a new type of society, and we are planting something, but it can become something really structural, and I would say essential in the European identity that we are building together.
A virtuous circle, right? Thank you.
Exactly.
Hello, Ms. Cicurel. I'm Gisbert. I'm the co-moderator with Fiona, and can I ask a personal question about mentoring? Did you have mentors, or do you have mentors in your life at this moment? And are you a mentor? And for who?
Many questions.
Many questions.
I think, mentoring is something I think that's also, I would answer a bit indirectly. I think that, and what I really appreciate in the work that you are all doing, and I want really to sincerely congratulate you, because I know that each of you is involved in a long path, and now it is recognized. It's a bit like a dream again, to have, government that recognize. But I know that it was a long path and it is not finished. But what I really appreciated is the fact that you have a very solid approach. That it's not, everybody that is helping another is a mentor. It's something, evidence-based, scientific-based. And I want to tell you that we are also improving in assessing the public policy at a European level, and mentoring will be assessed, and it is important. And I know that you are attached to this idea. So I think that in the important element, it's confidentiality. So I will not tell you who are my mentorees, but I can tell you that in the political field, I have a lot of women that want to get involved in politics, and so I am a mentor for many young women or not or less young women that want to engage in politics because they need this. And I would say that maybe I was not lucky enough because I'm a bit older than a lot of you. So when I was at the age of having maybe a mentor formally, as I haven't benefited really from a formal mentor, but I am involved in education because I was not so satisfied by what I got, and I want to improve. So one of the things that I didn't get, but I want to give and I want to help developing is mentoring. So that's what I can say to answer you.
Thank you. I think you're a mentor.
But of course, I have inspiring people around me, but I want to be, rigorous, and I didn't really went through a mentoring process myself.
Thank
but
you.
maybe it's not too late.
Thank you, Ilana. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think that we can give her a big applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for your precious time. And we are very inspiring. Also, you are a mentor also for us. So thank you. All of us will start thinking, how can we raise our voice in Europe? How can we, at our own level, put mentoring in the local agendas, regional agendas, and then the European agenda? So, and I will see you in September for the meet and match that is being organized, I think, thanks to you. Thank you, Ilana.
Bye-bye.
I think you can write it down, the question. Exactly. They are saying that you are, in a way, our mentors. So thank you. I think we are very happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very touched of this conclusion, and see you soon.
See you.
Keep in touch.
See you soon. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.